Huh?
We good?
Yeah, we started. We on.
Okay.
So we just gotta gotta wait for other people for a second.
Oh, I can't see. I can't see the counter. That's why.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But how do I?
Huh?
Never mind. I'm looking here. I'm refreshing the page to see if I can't see it here. Oh, there it is.
It's a delay. Yay. It's a delay if you start with
right. Okay.
Somebody said to me today, "How are you always late?"
Yeah, but how do
I at home? And I was like, I wasn't home. I wasn't home. Like I wasn't even coming here from home. All right, so today is Dr. Toni. Ask Dr. Toni. We're going to be talking about relationships. We're going to be talking about dating. We're going to be talking about a host of different things. Since it is called Ask Dr. Toni StrainedParadox, I thought it would be a good opportunity to invite my friend, my bestie, my person. I thought I would invite him back. He was here with the last show. I thought I would invite him back so that he can actually ask me some of the questions that y'all either post to the group page or send to me personally or whatever. I don't know. But so he came up with some questions. I hope I can answer them. If not, y'all will get the truth that I can't. But I'm not even sure what episode this is. We're just doing this for fun. I have a whole fan situation going on here, and it's blowing my hair. So all right, so it's Dr. Toni, and I'm just here waiting to see what questions you might have. So I want to introduce Mr. Big Moe, Maurice Big Moe Robert, and he is going to take over the show for like the next 20 minutes to a half hour, and he's going to put me in the hot seat this time. I have a lot of fun being the interviewer. That's like my favorite thing to do, but I also like answering questions from time to time. So one of the bonuses of this show is that I'm going to be asking questions as Dr. Toni, but also as Lady Odyssey. Some of you know that my pen name is my pseudonym for other stuff that I do is Odyssey Quest Carter. So, yeah, so some questions I might answer with Dr. Toni, who went to school for this, and some other questions I might answer as Odyssey, who just say stuff. So we're gonna try to keep it fun, keep it sexy, keep it wholesome, maybe. So I said maybe, you know, maybe.
Have you seen your page?
See, what happened was, I mean, some of these questions too grown for me, and nothing's really too grown for me when it comes to discussion anyway. But yeah, some of the questions are really good, and we get to talk about a lot of different things. So somebody asked the question, one has to go, KFC, Popeyes, Chick-fil-A, or Church's Chicken? KFC, no doubt, hands down. The rest of those I could eat all day, every day if I really ate fast food like that. But definitely Lola J, KFC would be out unless they want to give me some type of sponsorship. Then I'll pretend to eat their stuff every day.
What was that question?
That was from Lola J. I'm not sure. It seems like she asked it from the YouTube page. So,
okay.
And what she says is KFC seasoning game is off sometime. And it's not the seasoning, it's the grease.
Chicken.
You know, I don't want to feel like I have to like hang my chicken out to dry before I eat it. So it's really
Doctor, this is a black program and we're discussing chicken?
Well, I'm just saying she got another question. Sometimes Popeye serves chicken in a bag and not a box. I don't know. I don't know. When people finally get the opportunity to ask me a question, I'm not sure why they're asking me about
Is the next segment malt liquor or
it might be watermelon. I don't know. So let's do this. It's all on you. All right, it's Lola J. I'm not answering this because I'm starting to think maybe you were hired by KFC, or Popeyes or something talking about people who got killed over chicken. I'm not really sure, but thank you so much for your questions. So that was a great fun start. Let's do this. So I am gonna. My light keeps messing up. Okay, this is her last question, then it's on you, because this one is a pretty good one. One has to go secrets or lies. That's a good one.
Say that again.
If one has to go, would it be secrets or lies? And Lola J says secrets equal not telling the whole story. Lies equal changing the story. I always would rather a secret than a lie. Don't lie to me. I really can't take a lie. I can't wrap my head around it. So it definitely okay, so we have school days or higher learning and why. And higher learning, I think. Why? Because I like that one better than school days. I don't know. I like both of them. To me, they're both kind of, it depends on what mood you're in, more or less. So I'm in more of the higher learning mood now. She says, I'm at dinner with, BJ Dallas is at dinner with my goddaughter. She's my goddaughter's mom. So she's like my God-given mom. So that's what we're doing. All right. So go ahead and go. What is that? Is that your phone? Really?
Yeah.
You got the dice blowing you up right now? Like you couldn't put them on pause for like 30 seconds?
Oh, okay. No. We're good. We're good. That was my mama.
Oh, tell her I said hi. I hope she's not going to be fun.
I wanted to applaud you on your member count. It seems like, I think your member count pretty much doubled or almost tripled.
Well, I just started the group last week. So we just started the group last week and we got 278 members. So that's amazing. I don't even know 278 people. So that's really cool to me. We have a lot of fun on the group. So I should put it up here so people can see.
Well, because of that that boost in your membership, that's the reason for the first question, which of course I said, why don't you reintroduce yourself a little bit about your background, your mission with the Ask Dr. Toni page, and how you apply it to all social media platforms.
All right, so Dr. Toni, as you know, I'm a criminologist, I'm a divorce mediator, I guess relationship coach, just so many different things. And one of the things that COVID kind of brought out is we all need to come together and we need to heal and we need to change. And I started to see that people were stuck in relationships. Hey, cuz, people were stuck in relationships and stuck being at home together or long distance. And I was starting to see like a lot of relationship stress. So I said, I think it would be a good time to just open up a platform for people to heal. Because in order to heal our communities, we have to heal our relationships and we have to heal our families. So it's not just about just random questions, but just really helping people figure out what they want, not giving them judgment to say you should do this or you should do that, but really think about what they want and make informed decisions, not decisions that I want them to make, informed decisions about why they do what they do. So that's pretty much what the page is about. We're going to talk about social justice stuff, career stuff, relationship stuff, church stuff. There's a lot of church folks and religious people and some Not sure what kind of religion they are, but I'm good with them anyway. So we're just gonna, it's more of a place to ask me and ask each other whatever we need to ask. And
Okay.
it is, we're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whatever.
I think you touched on it a little bit on question number 2, but if there's anything you think you left out, the second question was, what makes you unique in the way that you approach relationships and relationship therapy and, of course, sex education?
Wait, hold up. I'm rolling. Okay.
Oh, and also before you answer that, the one thing you left out of one important thing you left out of question number 1 was the fact that you're a mother.
Yes, most definitely. I'm a mother of, and it's not because I'm a single mom, divorced years and years and years and freaking years ago. My kids are 20 and 21. I have 2 amazing boys. One works, is out on his own, doing his own thing, and I'm really proud of him. He's 20. My 21-year-old is in college, and he's had his business for 3 years. He's a photographer. Follow him on IG. Is Jawborn with an E creates _. So JAWBORNE creates, all one word, _. So he just got free promo. Hopefully y'all know what I'm talking about. But he does amazing, a lot of naked chicks, and not naked, but some, to a mother, everybody, if they don't have on a turtleneck and some sack pants, doggone it, she naked. So
it's artsy. It's artsy.
Yeah, it's definitely artsy, but he's really into making sure that the Black woman, no matter what her weight is, feels beautiful. And that's something that a mother can love. So I love both of my sons. They're doing amazing things. So yes, and I got all my education as a single mom. So what was your next question? What was your other question again?
It was what makes you unique in the way you approach relationships, relationship therapy, and sex education.
All right, so I'm not a relationship therapist. I'm a relationship coach. So that means I talk to you about it. A therapist is someone who's been to school for it. Me, it's based on life experiences, education as a divorce mediator, and just living life, a little too much life sometimes, but just living life and enjoying life, and experiences, because I work with and deal with a lot of people. But what makes me unique, I would say, would be that I'm not really squeamish. People can talk to me about whatever. It's not about whether I agree with your preferences or I agree with what you do. To me, it's, you have the right to be free in who you are, and really just making sure that I like to be people's person. So that they know that they have somebody that they can tell the truth to, and that if I judge them, they know I'm not going to judge them out loud. so that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Oh wait, we have a question from, first of all, my cousin Jay's wife Nikki is on. So I have a light that keeps messing up. So I'm just really excited that she's joining us. So hey Nikki. And Jakendrick asks, I don't know if this question is for you or for me, but it says, Mo, French cuff or button cuff or flare cuffs?
Where are you wearing it?
Yeah.
Where are you wearing it?
Yeah.
It all depends.
I think French cuffs are sexy.
French cuffs are great. French cuffs are great, but sometimes you don't want to wear French cuffs in certain business settings.
True. And I don't like button cuffs too much.
You don't like button cuffs. Every shirt in America is dang near a button cuff.
I know, and I find that very boring. I like shirts where.
And I guess when he says flare cuff, he means when they fold it over and it has a different pattern. Yeah. It depends. It depends on the situation.
True.
All great shirts to have.
So I had glasses on, and I don't know what I did with them. But anyway, so so that's that. I think that is the last question. Um, one has
Okay.
to go. Wait, I'm just gonna ask this one more.
Okay.
Um, Lola J, she's like, they're just my favorite person right now. One has to go cat daddies, sugar daddies, or baby daddies.
That's definitely a question for you.
Wow. And Lola says, let's face it, baby daddies make the world go round. So I'm gonna go with cat for this one. I'm not really into it, but yeah, I would go with cat daddies for this one. And no, I don't like ashy knees either, and I do think ashy knees are a sin. Carry on, sir.
Sure.
Yeah.
I kind of like those questions. But anyway, the next one. Do you feel it necessary to interject religious beliefs in the counseling that you do, in counseling people in their relationship issues? If so, or if not, the reason why or why not?
When I talk to people, whether it be personally or otherwise, anything that is important to them should be included. Because in a relationship, your faith is just as important as other things. When you talk about compatibility, you have to be compatible faith-wise and belief-wise, not even just faith, but as far as what you believe, your value system, moral code, all of that is so important. So while I don't always adhere to all of the specifics of the faith, meaning, oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. I'm not here to preach or to condemn anyone, but I do sometimes remind them, like, okay, you said this part of your faith is important, especially if they're in a church and they share the same faith as I do. Hey, you said this part of your faith is important, and you're making decisions that are contrary to your faith. So let's talk about that to make sure, again, not to change your decision, but to make sure that they're prepared for any positive or negative consequences that's going to come for the decision. You know, you don't always want to wake up in the morning feeling like you're going to hell. So you have to, you have to think about those things and talk about those things. And the more you embrace that as an individual, the more you can be healthy, I think, in a couple type of relationship.
Very good. Very good. Now I've been kind of on your page, going through the different questions. I sometimes I'll comment, sometimes I'll just leave it alone because it's just that spicy. And since I've been following your page, one of the biggest things that hit your page a few days ago was what makes sex good or what makes sex great. Now there were tons of comments. People were coming from all types of stuff to, physical as well as emotional. And I just wanted, and I'm sure everybody else wants your take on it.
All right. So what makes sex good is when you feel pleasure, right? You can have good sex, you feel pleasured, you feel fulfilled in that space, you feel satisfied. That's good. What makes sex great is when you have the parties involved that are willing to put aside their selfishness and seeking their own orgasm or their own ecstasy to really fulfill that for the other person. When you have two people that are involved in pleasuring one another, that's when I think you have a situation for great sex. It's not the mechanics of it, it's not the acrobatics of it. It's more of that sensuality, that pleasure, that joy, that commitment to the situation. And I'm not talking about necessarily commitment in life, which would definitely be good, but just that commitment to the moment that whoever you're with, you want them to be pleasured completely to the point that pleasuring them brings you pleasure.
That's deep right there. That's deep. I think that's like the zen of it all, is when you pleasure someone to the point that it pleasures you. Good
Right,
point,
and I
Doc.
think that's what's important, because people don't realize you don't only get pleasure from being pleased. If you're really surrendering to pleasure itself and to pleasing someone else, you should be able to derive pleasure from pleasing your partner or partners. So it's just my thought.
Okay. All right.
I'm waiting for
Next.
lightning to come down and strike me as well. I think I'm good. I so hope your mom is not on this one.
Well, if she is, I'm not talking.
I ain't talking.
These are all for her, Mama.
One of them already know I'm crazy.
All right. So I'm not sure if somebody sent this or it was just a follow-up. But I'm sure somebody had made a comments kind of moving towards this question I'm asking. And I think this question might be a little bit more to help us as men more than anybody. But the question is, how do you differentiate between sex and intimacy? And how do you know when your partner needs either of the two?
All right, so there's different forms of intimacy, and I think people only think of intimacy as intercourse, sex, touching. Intimacy is communication. It's a communication on many different levels. So it's communication verbally, there's touch, there's sharing ideas, there's knowing secrets, there's trust. There's so many different forms of expression and connection through intimacy. The thing is, you can have sex without intimacy and intimacy without sex. So it's knowing the difference between the two. And are you feeling connected to that person? Are you feeling like there is an emotional synergy between you and that person? Now, how do you know what your partner needs? You ask them. And I think that's what people are really sometimes scared to do, because they're scared that if their partner is going to say, oh no, you're not doing it right, and this is wrong, and that's wrong, and I'm not pleased, and they're worried about their own sexual self-esteem. And I really think getting even negative feedback is a good thing, because that means that your partner is giving you information to get better, to give them what they need. It'd be different if they're not being pleased, or they're not feeling that intimacy, or they're not being pleased sexually, and then they say, oh no, everything's fine. Well, then you're in a position where they're suffering in some way and they don't want to share it with you. And then that means there's a disconnect. So ask the question, do you feel like we're close? Do you feel like we're sharing things? Is there something else you need? Is this the way you like to be touched? When we do have sex, do you feel a connection, or do you feel like it's more functional? There are so many different ways you can ask that question. But I think for men to realize that loving a woman, kissing a woman, caressing her, having sex with her does not necessarily mean that she feels that same sense of intimacy that you think she has. I think some guys make the mistake of like, well, we just had sex. What you mean? We don't, no, that's a physical act. Intimacy is a whole different layer. Like I said, it's several different layers. So I don't know if that's helpful, but hopefully it is.
All right. I mean, the thing is, I guess you're saying it comes down to communication, and
because sex is a form of communication.
Sometimes that's not as easy as it sounds when in couples. Sometimes it takes a little bit more for women to open up and say, this is how I want things done, because they feel like they're putting the man down, or, you know what I'm saying, they're challenging his masculinity, or what
I don't know. I don't know if it's always that, as much as the fear. There are some women who still fear that if they are vocal about what they want, then that makes them one of those girls, like the bad girl, but in the, the thottish, hoish way. And no, it's, if you know that you like that shirt, you go in and you ask, hey, I like that shirt right there. Do you have it in my size? And if you have it in my size, can I have it? And I'm willing to sacrifice my income or my time or whatever I need to sacrifice in order to get it. We can say that for a shirt. The same words apply sexually. It's, just being willing to let your partner know what you want and what you need from it. And I think sometimes as women, we forget that we do have power in our voice in that way. We don't have to just use our power for you're not treating me right. We can use our power to instruct in our needs and our wants and our desires. Right. And, I say a little joke that there's a Bible verse, and please don't send me to hell for this. There's a Bible verse that says, train up a child in the way they should go, and if when they get old, they won't depart.
I'm logging off now.
In the way that he should go.
Yeah,
so
now, I feel you on that. I feel you on that. But I also wanted to ask your thoughts on this.
Okay.
Related to that. It's not always what you have to say, but how you say it.
That's very true. That's very true. And it's not about you're not giving me. It's about I need. It's about the I statements of I need this. I would like this. I desire this. It would be nice if I can have this. In other words, you're not coming at it as from a woman's perspective. You're not coming at it saying, you're not right and you're not doing it right, because that puts the man in a place where he's defensive now, and he's either going to say, I'm going to change and he's going to feel less than because of it, or he's going to walk away from you and go to somebody else.
Exactly.
Or empowered. So what you have to do is say what you want in an empowering way. If you do this to me, your reward will be. This is what I need. Why are you laughing at me? So
it's like treats for treats.
Hey. But no, I mean, even and not even just in sexually, but just in a relationship in general. We as humans respond to reward, whether negative rewards or positive rewards. Negative rewards are taking stuff away. Positive rewards are giving stuff for. So we respond to negative and positive rewards. So if you're telling someone, I don't really like this, so if you do that, I can't do this. Or I love when you do that. If you keep doing that, this is what I will do. You begin to influence what you want rather than demanding it. And then it's natural. It comes naturally from the person. And here's one more thing. It also helps you know that the change is authentic. Because if a person feels forced to do it, you'll always remember and kind of have in the back of your head, I wonder if they're just doing it because I said they had to do it. But if you're influencing it and they're doing it completely of their own free will because they want to please you and they know in return they'll be pleased, again, not just sexually, then you're going to have more of a clear comfort and trust that the change is real and lasting.
All right, well, good. All right. So that was a tip for men and women. I think that's going to make us all better. Got to see the doctor more often. Right, next. Next, this one made me laugh. So I actually answered it with a crazy answer that you actually checked on it with me earlier today. And this says, what are women really looking for in a man? And somebody asked, is it money? But I said, basically said, is it money, love, or loyalty, etc.? What are women looking for in a man?
I think And that's a really hard question because every woman is different, no? Just like every man is different. So it's really hard to say what a woman wants because that goes to cultural beliefs, that goes to background, that goes to whether there was trauma, whether what their past life was like the things they did before they met them. And there's so many things that go into that. But I think ultimately women want to feel special and they want to feel safe, and we want to feel like we know that y'all can go out there and get who you want, like we can go out there and get who we want, but we really want to know that you made a conscious decision to want us. Not I was, shooting my shot everywhere and hey, it landed on you. We want to feel like we were chosen, and just like a man wants to feel like he was chosen. So I think it's loyalty, it's trust, it's stability, it's adding to our peace, adding to our happiness, adding to our joy. And notice I said not making us happy, but adding to it. Really being able, like I said, to feel safe, but not feel forced to devalue ourselves or feel less than or put in a box because of it. So I think that's the answer. Now I'm told that I'm trying to give like the good answer. Is that good?
I have my own answer.
It's not money because we can make our own money.
But, well, I didn't say that. I'm just saying I have my own answer for that question. Fellas, if you're listening, women actually want everything. They want your mind, your body, your soul, your car keys, your debit card, your social security card, your mother's last name. They want your credit score, FICA, a tad bit of everything.
Are you done? Are you finished? Huh? Are you finished?
Yeah.
Because I felt like a vent.
I'm done.
You might have to be a client.
Love too. Love and respect and honesty and stuff like that too. Every.
So yeah, but you know what? It's nothing wrong with either the male or the female wanting everything. Just be truthful about it. The problem is when you want everything and you're willing to give nothing, and then you're not even truthful about what you want. So don't get mad if a chick says she wants a guy with money and you got money and you get involved with a chick like that. She told you what she wanted. She was truthful. So, that's what I want you to, that's what I'm hoping people get from it. It's okay to want what you want, but understand that you also have to give. It's not about taking. A relationship is about sharing. You cannot have a relationship unless you can relate. That is the foundation. Mm-hmm. So you need to be able to share. You need to be able to be truthful. And it's okay to want all of those things. Just understand that wanting all of those things might change the quality of the person that you get.
Change the quality of the person? Really?
The person that you choose. Because
okay.
You see, like the person you end up in a relationship with might not, if you want all of this stuff, you're going to have to sacrifice something. Because that means you're going to have to sacrifice music. And I'm not going into the church version of, you ask God for what you want and he supplies those things. I'm not really going in. I'm not saying that. That's wrong. You should know what you want and you should believe in what you want, but also be truthful about what you might get considering what you want.
Right.
Somebody said, she said, just leave me the life insurance policy, okay?
That's right. That's a part of everything. You want stuff after death.
I just met you and I'm already planning for your death.
Even after death, they want it.
Goodness gracious.
But these are your followers, Dr. Toni. These are your followers.
And that was my goddaughter's mother. So, and she know I love her to death. I really love her. But that, I mean, if you're gonna be that type, where you're like, I want the insurance policy, I want everything. There is something you need to give for that. So you just have to be prepared that are you the type, and I'm not saying you wouldn't deserve it, or this is not about what you deserve, but there is an exchange in every relationship, whether it be a business relationship, a education relationship, a parent-child relationship. There is an exchange that happens. So you have to be prepared for that exchange.
Okay, all right. So,
we're supposed to, Stacey is supposed to join us. She was on, and I was getting ready to add her, and then she disappeared. So hopefully she joins us again.
She pops back up. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna switch off to a question that was asked, that was posted by you, and this is something I've discussed before with other friends of mine, and is not on the list I gave you, but you posted it, so you should be prepared for it. And it's a topic that I actually like to discuss because it goes into the climate of this country. And the question you posted was, can someone be married to a person of color and still be racist?
Answer is yes, 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 yes. Because there's a thing called having a blind spot to racism, where you kind of think everybody else is racist, but some white people experience where it's like, I'm not the racist one. And you can have somebody who's a protester, who's a Black Lives Matter protester, who's an advocate. But when it hits close to home, it's a whole different story.
Yeah.
So, some people posted their answer that said, like Thomas Jefferson, he had his, Stacey is joining us. So, hey, Stacey, I'm just going to finish up this question and then I'll introduce you and we can join it. So what I was saying is, you can be I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. Just like a person can be gay for one and like one person, but be a gay basher in all other arenas. Sometimes they have an affection and an excitement for the very thing they hate. So I don't find it a far reach, and I've seen it in my own life where people who come to me and say, my best friend is gay, my wife is gay, my girlfriend is gay. Hey, I mean, not gay, is Black. My children are Black. I was like, what? My children are Black, or I adopted a Black kid, or I work here, or where, I do great. I even had somebody say, I do great around Black people. You can be in all of those situations and thrive well with it, and the synergy you have with those people can work well, but that doesn't mean you feel the same way about Blacks or Latinx individuals or Indigenous peoples in general. So yes, you can still be gay. I mean, why do I keep saying that?
I don't know. That may have been your last session, but we on the but we on relationships right now between interracial couples. Can you be in an interracial relationship and the person still be racist, doctor?
I can tell you where that came from. It came from a text message I got. A friend of mine just recently came out, and I'm so proud of them for embracing who they are and who they believe to be, even though the rest of us already knew it, I feel like, but just reaching, embracing who they are. So they're kind of on my mind right now because I'm really proud of her, and just stepping into her own truth, which is hard for anybody of any background. It's hard to step into your own truth and say, I don't care what other people might believe or feel or family or whatever, but this is the truth I live. And even though I am not an LGBTQIA plus individual, there are times in my life where I had to step out and step into my own truth. And, that makes me proud of her. So wait, we have a statement here by Terrell Davis. He says, black is a color that is a human being as well and should not be a second-class citizen to anyone or anybody or anyone for any reason. And that's absolutely true. We put a lot, society forces us to put a lot on the shade of our skin as the definition of who we are, and we know that that's not the case. So I want to welcome evangelist, prophetess, elder Stacey Overton, who is my sister girl. We're both almost the same age, like 4 days apart. We've been around each other all growing up. We grew up in the church together. We've been friends for years. Even when we dip off, we find a way to get back to each other and kind of I consider her like my home base. And I just love her dearly. So Stacey, welcome. I don't know.
Hey,
you gotta pray for me, girl.
this is a good to see you, Maurice.
Do y'all remember each other?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we all kind of grew up together. That's why I thought this was just such a special time to spend together, because we all kind of grew up together, and y'all both get to talk about some crazy stuff. So thank you for joining us. Mo, did you have any more questions?
No. I'm good. I think that was the last one.
All right. So the question now, I get to get back in my comfort zone. I don't have to be on a hot seat now. So one of the questions, Stacey, I don't know if you were watching before, but one of the questions that Mo asked me, I'm not calling you Big Mo. Forget about that. All right. That's not happening for me.
Okay. All right.
But Mo, one of the questions that he asked was, whether we should include church and our beliefs into our discussions on relationships. So my question to both of y'all, we all share a connection with the traditional church. So I guess my question to both of y'all is, how much does your faith influence who you date?
Wow. Well, it has a lot to do with it. It has a lot to do with who you date. You want them to share the same beliefs. You really to have something in common with the person that you're seeing. My challenges is because of my calling. I'm a minister now, so it's hard to get people to. You understand? I mean, a lot of times they run scared, they get afraid, and they just don't want to do it. So, but I really would want to stay in the same faith and believe. It's hard to date somebody that, say, for example, they're a Jehovah's Witness or they're Catholic or they're Buddhist. It's hard to really connect and you really want to get to know the person better. If they don't share the same. It's really hard for me. I find it difficult.
Right. I mean, what we used to call, or what we say, being equally yoked with someone. When you establish yourself with one particular religious belief, that affects your mores on the way you raise your family, the way you talk to your children, even as something as the holidays that you celebrate. These are all things that are going to come up in your household that are going to, if you're not with the person of the same faith, is going to create conflict, or has the potential to create conflict. Now, it has happened, like, you could drive your car with your feet. It has happened where people have been of different religions and they have made it work. But, then if in that case, is someone compromising their religion in that situation, if we bring kids into the situation? So, what I'm saying? The differences between being, you know, someone of, for example, just putting out there, being someone that is of the Islamic faith and someone that, you know, is a traditional Christian, you know, the things that we hold true in our respective religions, the other person may see as a fraudulent activity. You know what I'm saying? So that's a very, you know, slippery slope as far as how you deal with a family if you're dating someone thinking long term.
So here's the thing. You're saying dating someone long term, but what about if it's a right now, or is that precluding from the religious experience? Are we supposed to court, you know, or is it okay to just, you know, date around, you know, just, I want to eat, I want to go out, I want to have some fun, you know, you know, what
I would be a friendship.
Not
well,
really. Go ahead. Yes, please.
Well, it put it like this: it's to its own. It's everybody has to be persuaded by their own mind. So it's up to you whether you want to do that or not. You know, it's all an individual. You know, it's up to you. You might enjoy the company of the person. They might have a good personality. You might enjoy their time. So it all depends on you. You and that person have that conversation. You know, you'll know if to do with the person or not. If it's a short-term temporary, you just want to date for a little while. You know, however you want to hang with that person, that's totally up to you. That's an individual thing.
So here's the question. I have a question though. Mm-hmm. If that's okay, then do you have to worry about religion in that situation? If you know that this person is your right now person, and you're just dating for fun, not dating for a long-term commitment for that individual, do you think it's okay that they just go ahead and they not worry about, you know, are we the same faith? Do we share the same, like he said, the same holidays and all of that?
You know, I would be okay with it. I mean, you know, it's companionship is companionship. Friendship is friendship. You know, you don't have to. It's not a discrimination thing, if you will. If the person is a nice person and they just enjoy your company or you enjoy their company, I don't see anything wrong with that. I really don't. Now, however, like Mo was saying, if you want to take it long term, it's time to start talking about that. You know, what are we gonna do? You know, how you it's conversations that you need to bring up if you're thinking about taking it to the next level. But while you're just talking or it's your big thing, it's not necessary.
So, Mo.
Yeah.
What do you do then if you're for now chick? And I'm not saying you, I'm saying in general, because we don't know if you're in a relationship, if you're not, and definitely trying to, you know, mess anything up that might be in existence, if there is. So the question is, if say you're dating somebody and they're your right now chick, what if you weren't worried about religion as much, and then all of a sudden now it's getting serious and you need to worry about religion? Would you stay in that situation, or would you go ahead and say, hey, no, religion is more important?
To be completely honest, I believe it depends on the person's dedication to that religion. Everyone kind of puts themselves in a respective category, you know, Catholic, Jewish, whatever. But some people aren't even practicing. It's something they've learned when they were children. And as they get older, they're not even practicing that religion anymore, but they still classify themselves as such. So it depends on how close that person is to that particular religion. For me, it really depends on how strongly you feel about that person. More so than not, I'm going to say no. I'm not going to continue the relationship. because I know long term, the conflicts that it's going to bring up are going to be too much for me to handle. For me, peace in the home is everything. And that's just something over the years I've developed. You know, I have to have peace no matter what it is. The peace of the home is priority. And if that's going to disrupt the peace in the home, especially because I have a daughter now, a young daughter now, it's going to be a no.
Yeah, I know for me, my religion, my faith is my number one, right? So if it's a date, then if we're just dating, it's not as important. But if we're going toward anything more serious, then religion is definitely important to me. And it's because I'm the type of person where I drive 200 miles one way to church. Okay. So, you know, and it's not every week, of course, it's every other week. I try for the most part, outside of COVID, but my dedication to my beliefs and everything are paramount. So it's not, and I'm not the person, as y'all tell from my page, that feels as though I have to spill my beliefs out on everything and everyone. I leave that to ministers and elders and such. But for me, it is an expression of who I am, and I need that. So we do have one question where it just says Facebook user, but this person says some people find their quote unquote quote religion after the relationship has established. And this person wants to know, like, can you do something with your phone? Like, can you just throw it back or something? Like, I won't say your phone, like a vibrator right now.
What?
So, just buzzing away. Anyway, so yes, man. The question is, some people find that their religion after the relationship was established can it still work if they've established the relationship first and then, as we say, found religion?
That comment was actually posted by a really great friend of mine, Teresa Muhammad, and my question to that question is, because from my standpoint, being in a relationship, how did I find a relationship without her being right there beside me? I can't go nowhere. So I don't know. It depends. How did that person start the new religion without the other mate being a part of that process?
Well, to me, religion is an individual process. So just because one person finds religion doesn't mean necessarily the other person will. You know, you might have that shared submissiveness, and where I don't know if that's a thing, but that's what I call it, where both people are willing to submit to the things that the other person feels strongly about. So it's because it's individual. There really might be a likelihood that you get stronger in your faith or find your faith, and you've already been in a relationship, and the other person is like, no, you know, that's not me. That's not what I'm into. You knew this when you first started dating me. What would you do, Stace?
Well, you know what? It's a long-term problem, because that was a good question. If you find it after you started dating, because there will be problems. Like, for example, I have friends of mine at one person, you know, they got married, they met years ago, they're married now. One person is now saved, and they, you know, started entering ministry, and then the other one did not. So it's not that they had different religions. One found Christ, you know, say, for example, two people of the world. So one found Christ, gave his life to Christ, but the other spouse didn't do it with them. So that in long term affects the marriage.
Right. But
I have one point to make, like, because I've seen this so often in the church. Whereas this whole concept of giving your life to Christ, where the person in relationship, for example, the wife will give their life to Christ, but the husband doesn't go to church, or he's not into the religion, but he was raised with some of the principles of Christianity. So he understands the principles. So they're not really going to conflict very often because he does have the basis of the religion. He's just not practicing it.
Right.
That's different. That's a different case.
But you're still unequal, right? Because one person is at a different point in their faith than you are. So, you know, like people say, well, then you should advance the person, you should evangelize them, you should share your faith with them regardless of the faith, you should try to get them to be where you are. But if they're just not there, do you sacrifice your relationship for your religion? We're all three single-ish, right? I don't know.
Single-ish, I'm
yeah, I am too.
Yeah, she done started something with this question.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're single, are you willing to sacrifice? Like, I know I am not willing to sacrifice my faith for a relationship. And it's not because I am that religious, but it is a part of my moral code. It is a part of my value system. So even though I do a lot of crap I shouldn't do, I definitely am, I would need that person to share at least a strong foundation that I've been brought in. I mean, my father was a pastor, my mother's a pastor, everybody in my family preacher, pastor pretty much, or deacon or some, except me, and there's a reason. So, with that said, don't laugh, don't judge me. Don't judge me. Okay, I'm gonna tell y'all a quick story, something I told my mother. And because she gets up and she preaches wonderfully. She's really expounds on the word, and sometimes it's Bible study, whatever. So she's really, really good at that. And I told her one time, I said, I couldn't be a preacher. I couldn't be a pastor to get up there every Sunday. And she said, why? I said, because I get up there 3 times and they don't listen the 3rd time. I must get up there and say, well, go on to hell. And I already told you the Bible's been written for several thousand years. If you still not listening, what I'm supposed to say? So, like I said, there's a reason why I'm not a preacher. We have some statements here. So we have Miss Dallas that says, I think it can all work as long as your partner and yourself aren't ruled by their religion. Not saying faith, but she's saying religion, and they're not an extremist. So as long as it's about faith and not the traditions of religion, she's saying, then it can work out. And I do agree with that, because for me, it's more about my faith than the particular church that I attend or the particular traditions that happen within the church. We have a couple of people that say no, they would not sacrifice. Carolyn says, I will not sacrifice my faith in God to have a relationship. Absolutely not. And she also says, I'm not going to be unequally yoked. So,
that's right.
Now I do need to take a minute and define that term unequally yoked, because we sometimes only apply that to whether somebody's saved or not saved. But there's so many other forms of being unequally yoked. There's financial, there's emotional, there's mental health, there's education. Like, there's so many ways that we could be unequally yoked, right?
Sexually unequally yoked, sexually unequally yoked as
well. Mo?
What you saying?
I was asking you if you wanted to answer that. I mean, you checked out on this place like that? You're like, y'all talking that church stuff. I'm bad. I'm checked out.
No, I said,
as far as the question of unequally yoked, you're right that there's so many different forms of being unequally yoked. But on a religious standpoint, I just see it as, you know, more of a struggle and more of a hardship on a relationship than it needs to be. If you would have asked me this 10 years ago or 15 years ago, it would have been all love, love, love. Love will, you know, we can make it work as long as, you know, the emotion of love is in the air. But,
Right.
you know, with experience now, thinking about it, like I said, in the long term, you know, the type of friction that can occur because of being unequally yoked, I don't think it's worth it starting it. I think if you got that taken care of in the very beginning, I think you have a smoother road, you know, smoother outcoming down the road.
Just a second. Somebody said we're echoing. So if you have your Facebook page open, just make sure it's closed because they're getting feedback. Now, there is a question that says, does this still apply if your significant other supports you in your religious activities? And they're saying not compromising, but if they support you in your religious activities, in other words, they don't necessarily feel the way you do. And I was in a relationship with that. I was in a relationship with somebody who was a Jehovah's Witness. I wasn't, you know, I still went to some of their functions and you know, different things that went on as far as what they did because I was in a relationship with them. I supported what they believe. But the reason why I also left that relationship was because they didn't support what I believe. So I think for my answer is if that is okay with you, not really if it's okay with me, Moe, or Stacey, if that's okay with you, then you have to make sure that there's equal support. Are you supporting them in what they believe, and are they supporting you in what you believe? Are you strong enough in your beliefs that you can attend whatever religious ceremonies or services and still hold on to your faith? And are they strong enough in what they believe that they can still attend yours and hold on to theirs without the expectation that every time they attend, you're hoping that they change and upset afterwards when they don't? So you really have to be really sure of yourself, sure of your faith, and open to what the other person believes. So that's my thought. Moe and then Stacey.
Are there children involved?
Children always change everything, man.
They change everything.
Everything. Everything.
They change everything.
They really change everything.
Let me say it like this. If you're doing it and it's working for you, God bless you.
Right.
But for me, I just don't think it's, you know, something that's going to. I don't think we have a hard enough time with just the relationship on its own. Just figuring out the other person's personality, just figuring out what makes our women tick, you know, and what makes us tick as we both trying to find each other. So adding that religious portion on top of that is, you know, to me, it's kind of like a recipe for disaster in the end. And if it is a recipe for disaster, how much time are you wasting on it? Where you could be with somebody else that could be fulfilling what you really need.
Now, the Facebook user must know you. It is the same couple that you said before, but they said to let you know that this is not my life. So they want you to know that the questions that they're asking has nothing to do with their life. Okay, so we just want to be clear for them. And I understand. I honestly would express that same clarity as well. You know, I'm asking questions, but my relationship is good if I ever had one. So
you better stop. Listen, I still got phone numbers.
You got phone numbers too. So my question to you, and we'll wrap up very shortly, but my question to both of you is that how much does your faith impact you being single? Like, how do you navigate single life in your faith? We'll go to the preacher first. Wait, we're gonna go to the preacher first.
Hallelujah.
That smile she just had, I want some details on that. I'm just saying.
Well, it's not easy being single and trying to date and navigate that, because what happens is when people know that you're a preacher, like I'm a minister, and they know that, even the guys want to get to know you, they'll try to date you just to say, for bragging rights, to say, okay, I got the preacher, or she ain't really who she say she is, or you understand what I'm saying? She's a hypocrite. Why am I a hypocrite? Because I enjoy things like everybody else do. You understand? It's just that certain things I cannot do that everybody else can do. So I have to cross the line somewhere. But I found myself being, even in the church, people in the church, men in the church, they want to get to know me, but they'll create, instead of coming to me and say, oh, I want to date you, or I'm attracted to you, I might want to reach out and lay hands on you. I want to tell
Lord, Lord.
But what I'm saying,
hallelujah, glory. With the oil or without?
Saying that, personal experiences. Instead of them saying that, they'll create a scenario or paint a picture to make it look like that I'm coming to them. I'm trying to get to know them, instead of them just outright saying, I would like to take you to dinner. I want to get to know you a little bit better. I'm interested in you, and I want to date you.
That's part of the tease. You know what I'm saying? Like, we do that as women. Okay, here's a story, right? Because I'm always good with stories. One time I was at a church, and this is why I don't like that whole holding hands during prayer thing, other than your dirty little hands on my hands. But dude passed me a card that he was a masseuse, and he was like, I'll give you a massage after church. We in the prayer line, people. Why massage invitations in the prayer line? How I'm supposed to be a sanctified single if I'm getting massage invitations in the prayer line?
Lord,
I jack you up for the rest of the service.
He just wanted to find out if y'all were equally yoked.
But it goes to say this. I want to change that scenario. It goes to say this, the preacher. I don't want a religious man. I don't want him to have the same religion I have. If he loves God and he really loves the Lord, he may not be a preacher. He may not go to church every Sunday, every time the door is open. But if he has a strong relationship with God, that's all right with me. I don't want him to be religious, but I want him to.
You're preaching right now. Well, you're right, and I feel the same way. I don't need somebody to believe and express their beliefs, exactly the way I do. Like, you have your own relationship. I just need you to be secure in your relationship with God for a person, right? What's it like you're not a preacher, I don't think yet. Nah, I'm not sure. So, Mo, what is it like dating as a single man? You're single, like we said last week, you were on last week, you're a single dad. You're, I don't know if you embrace the whole man of God thing, or just, hey, I'm a man that know God. I'm not sure where you at with that, not judging. But where are you at with being a single believer? Like, how do you juggle that?
Well, to me, I think you asked that last time, and it wasn't. I never had issues dating, as far as finding people to date and going out on dates. You just kept it very friendly at first, but I've never had an issue finding people to date and having those conversations about how you feel about religion, what is your religious background and things of that nature, and just being upfront during the dating process. So for me, it hasn't been as difficult. And I have found someone, so I am with a Christian woman now. So
I'm gonna meet her one day.
Stacey, you on mute?
Oh yeah, she is. There you go. We couldn't hear you, sis. Go ahead.
Can you?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Want to answer that question? Carolyn, she just made a statement. Most men are only attracted to the anointing on your life. They're not interested in you personally. You have something they need in their life. That's my issue right there, because of what's on my life, the men are drawn to me, but they can't handle it. They're drawn to me for that reason.
Well, can we say, wait, I mean, I wish I could have gotten a male minister on too, because I think male ministers go through the same thing, because the anointing, I'm sorry, y'all just pray for me after this. A man that is passionate about his faith and that's passionate about how he expresses his faith is so sexy, and women are attracted to that, regardless of what their faith is, and regardless, like that passion. It's just like a singer or any other type of performer that is just expressing passion all the time. So the person is attracted to the power that you have in office. They're attracted to the anointing and the theory that they're closer to God for being with you, and all of that other kind of stuff. I wouldn't say that they're not interested in you personally, Carolyn. I would say that sometimes they might get lost in all the other stuff, and they might not necessarily be able to find where you are in the middle of all of that. Now, I'm not a minister, but I do have various career paths, and I'm in a lot of situations where I have to give advice. And in that, I have people who cling to me who lose sight of who Tanisha is. They see Dr. Toni, they see Odyssey, they see, the academic, the scholar, the commissioner, whatever it is. They see all of these things, and they lose sight or don't take the time to get to know who Tanisha is. So sometimes it's just getting them to dig deeper and to say, you know what, that is a part of who I am, but it is not the totality of who I am, if that makes sense. So she says, it goes both ways. There are a lot of women who swear they want to be married to a man of God until they get him and don't want him. And I think it's being married to or being in a committed relationship with a person who is in an authoritative position in the church, in whatever that position might be. I think a lot of people, and all of us that are on here, grew up as preachers' kids and pastors.
Yeah.
I think people don't realize the commitment and the time that it takes, that person that you're dating, you have to share. And you're not just sharing them with people, you're sharing them with God. Like, you have to be prepared that there is a calling and there is a responsibility that you can't touch and you have no control over. So that's my 2 cents on
that. Sounds like a whole nother event. Where again, I think you're right. Having a male pastor and or minister to represent on that could really bring some insight on as well.
Well, here's the thing. Y'all know I do other stuff than talk about dating, right? So
yeah, but ain't nobody.
Don't nobody know that. So we're gonna wrap up. Next week, I have a gentleman on by the name of Chris Cherry, who he is amazing. He graduated from Pace University. He's an amazing singer. He's sung on Broadway, cruise ships, all of that. And now he just recently came out with his own album. And he has his own journey to share about how his album came about, with his coming into himself and also coming into his relationship. His father had recently passed away just before he did the album. So coming into his relationship, and addressing the relationship that he had with his father. So we're still sticking to the relationship theme, but we're going to keep the dating theme off for another week or so. But just to, I'm really excited. I knew him as a kid. I used to push him in a stroller, so I'm feeling real old right now, but he's just amazing. I'm going to play some of his music. Just as a wrap up though, Stacey, you have any last words, and then Mo, and then I'll sign off.
No, it's just that, it takes time. If you're single, it takes time to get into a relationship, and you have to be willing to want to wait and be patient and just wait for the timing, for your timing, for it to come to you. And don't be frustrated. Don't choose according to your frustration and just grab anything and settle. But
so how long I gotta wait? How long are we supposed to wait? Is there an expiration date?
Some have to wait longer than others, Tanisha.
And is there a sign? Do I have to wait until Jesus come back?
No.
What I'm waiting for?
You have the same problem. Men are definitely intimidated by the women of power and strong and strength. They really run. They really run away from that. They a lot of times say, but not just in ministry, but period. A lot of men like to feel they'll choose a woman beneath them, if you will.
Right.
Beneath them mentally, beneath them emotionally. So they say they want equally yoked. They say they want a strong woman. They want a committed woman. But when they get a wife, they still shopping in the girlfriend section. And then when a wife approaches them, they can't handle it.
Well, see, before
What's your definition of strength?
What?
What's your definition of strength?
My definition of strength is this. A man can feel it and see it in a woman. They can feel it and see the door. They don't have to know the woman per se, personally, or date her, but they can feel it. Something about the way she walks, the way she carries herself, if you will. It shows a sign of strength and integrity. And a lot of men, when they see me coming from the door, like for example, a lot of them run the other way. It's not, and I'll be like, well, is something wrong with me? Am I not attractive, or what's wrong with me? No, it's my aura. When I step into the room, in other words, women like you, Toni, when you step into the room, you command the room. All eyes are on you. Everybody is watching you for whatever reason. So when you have that kind of aura about you, and if it's a single man, he might look, but he's not going to approach. He's not going to approach because.
Well, Miss Carolyn said, right, say that, Evangelist Stacey, come on through here. See, there's the thing. I feel like if a man has, the reason why a man might choose, and Mo, you please correct me if I'm wrong or add to what I say, but if a man feels, a lot of times he wants to feel as though he is the head of the situation, he's the strength, he's the pillar. We've been taught society-wise that a woman should be subordinate to the man, and in that, they're not looking for an equal. They're not looking for someone who really adds. They're looking for someone they can lead. Because in the church, and I'm talking about churches, she's on your side and she's meant to help you and you're meant to lead her. And I'm a traditionalist in that sense of the hierarchy of the family and that experience. But I think men sometimes, and the conversation I've had, will choose, as you said, a woman that is less than what they could have because it's easier to deal with. You don't have the questioning if you don't have a woman that understands finances, she's not going to question your finances. If she doesn't totally have a grasp on the word of God, she's not going to question your faith or when you do something wrong. So I think it's that security that I know a little bit more than you. Me, my dad said when I was younger, he said, your biggest problem is you don't know how to keep your mouth shut. So I'm going to leave that right there. Mo,
well, I like both of you, but I don't agree with both of you.
I don't like you. When you said I like both of you, I made up in my mind.
But I think everyone has their right to an opinion. But I don't believe we men are afraid of a strong woman. I think there's a difference between being strong and someone trying to be dominant. I think that, we are looking for a mate, someone that can complement us in the relationship, right. Not someone that has to show their strength at every edge of the relationship. Someone once, a female once told me, you sometimes have to let a man be a man and let him lead in certain things. And the woman also, she has to lead in other things to complete the household. I think it's a 50-50 process, but a good man isn't a man that just wants to dominate over his woman without hearing her out. I think a strong woman isn't the woman that wants to dominate over a man and not listen to what he has to say. The last thing I think a Black woman wants is a weak man. I've seen it time and time again where some women get what they think they want, a guy that just submits to everything they say, and the relationship doesn't always work because in the long run, she feels he's a weak person. He's not the alpha that they've been attracted to. So, I'm getting off point. That went off on the tangent. As far as men being afraid of strong women, I don't think that we're afraid of strong women. But if we feel that a woman is being overly dominant and not letting us get a word in or not coming to a compromise when we think we should be compromising, I think that can turn a man off.
I think men actually want a strong woman because you want somebody who's able to support you, who's able to pick up the slack.
Absolutely.
So the wanting of the strong woman. I think personally that women can lose sight that you can be both submissive and strong at the same time, that it takes strength to be submissive. It takes strength to be able to say, I could, but I won't, or I don't have to, but I will. There's a combination. It's not always just simply black and white of I'm a strong, independent Black woman. And we wear that badge of honor. I know I do because I raised my kids on my own. They're both doing well. I got my degrees while being a mother and all of the things that I do. So I do consider myself a strong, independent woman. But I'm not so strong and independent that I'm like, oh, you can't be this and you can't be that and you can't tell me this. I want to be able to partner with someone. I want to be able to be his strength when he's weak and for him to be my strength when I'm weak. And that should be a constant synergy where we're both strong all the time, not because we're all the time strong as individuals, but we're all the time strong together. So I am going to wrap this up because we are at almost an hour and a half and we aren't supposed to be an hour. That's what I usually do it for an hour. So we're at an hour and 23 minutes, but this
some good topics. Yeah, some good questions.
This has been phenomenal, and maybe we can have the both of you back again, and maybe y'all can find me a preacher man to be on here. Make sure he's single though. I'm just
Lord have mercy.
Wrap him in the bow.
I'm not doctor.
He can't just be single.
Doctor over there.
Wait, y'all both talking at the same time.
Oh, I didn't know he was okay.
Go ahead, Stacey.
No, what I'm saying is I can find you a preacher man, but he gotta be delivered first, because some of them are straddling the fence in the church.
I'll
They
do
try-
it. Don't worry about it. Let me worry about that. No, I'm joking. I'm sorry. I'm joking. I act up sometimes. Anybody who's watching recorded, I'll act up sometimes, but really, I act up all the time. I'm sorry, but you know, it's the truth. Like, you gotta, you know, I'm really hoping that we can do this again and have somebody and really talk about the realness, because a lot of times I hear about, you know, Christianity or religion or the church and dating, and we don't. And one topic, I mean, I really want to be able to get into more than dating, but our sexuality as men and women of God. So
Yeah,
maybe
let's talk next time. Yeah.
that would, and the look on your face, I need holy water. So, but if we can maybe do this again in a couple of weeks and invite somebody else that is a single male that might want to add into that. Not a single male, but a single preacher. And Mo, you did an amazing job asking me questions. I really appreciate it. I like interviewing and working with both of y'all. It feels like a little family reunion. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for joining us, either live or in the recording. People have been in and out. Thank you, Maurice, Big Mo. Robert, if you need anything as far as men's fashion, he's a men's fashion consultant. He is amazing. He also does project management and so many other things. So really an amazing guy and a really nice person. So reach out to him. And then Evangelist Stacey, she's a chaplain. She works with those with developmental disabilities and other issues. So again, you know, single people with a warm heart, with a sense of faith, that are facing real issues. So this has been fun. Me, y'all already know me, and I'm half crazy and half crazy. So I will talk to y'all later. Thank you for joining. Ask Dr. Toni, StrainedParadox Live. Talk to you next week.
Right. Bye-bye.